Hello, everyone. I found an old journal in my attic today. It belonged to my great-great-grandparents. They moved into our home back in the 1920s, and this was their story. It was the summer of 1920 when we finally moved into our new home. It took a lot longer to get it ready than we had expected. Turns out restoring a house that had been abandoned for 10 years wasn't as easy as we thought it would be. But finally, we were able to move in, and we couldn't wait to start our new lives there. We had 3 children at the time, a boy and 2 girls, and they were all very excited to have an attic to play in. I remember their laughter echoing through the halls of the old house. It made my heart soar. It was music to my ears. The house had been built over 100 years before and had seen better days, but it was big and had plenty of space for our growing family. We settled in and started to make the house our own. One day, while playing in the attic, our son discovered a small, barely noticeable door hidden behind some old trunks. He called us over, and we pried the door open. It creaked ominously, and we could see that it led to a room we didn't know existed. The room was small and stuffy, barely big enough to stand up in. There was a rocking chair in one corner and an old wooden chest in the other. In the middle of the room was a crib with a mattress on it. We had no idea that this room was even here. There was no mention of it in the blueprints, and the only way to get in was through that secret door. The kids were scared to go in there because they said it felt creepy and crawly. So I went in by myself. I wanted to see what was in that wooden chest. I heaved it open, and inside was a pile of old clothes, a doll, and a leather-bound journal. The doll was dirty, and its porcelain face was cracked. It looked like it had been here for hundreds of years. As I turned the brittle pages of the journal, I found drawings of the house and a key. One of the drawings showed the attic with the hidden door. Someone had drawn an X right over it. I could feel the weight of the people who had lived here before us watching me from the walls. I could hear their whispers echoing through the empty rooms. Was this room used for hiding? Hiding from what? I shuddered as I thought about the secrets these walls were holding. I showed my wife the journal, and she agreed that it was creepy. We decided to board up the door and pretend that room didn't exist. It was too unsettling for us to do anything with the room or the things in it. Years passed, and we grew old in that house. But every time I walked past that boarded-up door, I couldn't help but wonder what secrets it was hiding. One night, while our grandchildren were staying over, they told us about a game they liked to play. It was a game where they pretended to be ghosts. They would walk around the house at night, shaking the doors and windows, making scary faces at each other. As they were telling us about it, one of the kids ran off. Then they came back with a flashlight and told us to follow them. They led us to the attic door and pushed the flashlight under it. Suddenly, the door swung open. They had somehow managed to push the boards loose and break the lock. Our hearts pounded as they stepped inside. What if something was in there? What if someone or something was watching us? We stood there for a moment, paralyzed with fear. Then we started to scream and run. The kids ran out of the attic and down the stairs. My wife and I stumbled after them, our eyes wide with terror. When we finally got downstairs, we collapsed on the couch, gasping for breath. It was then that we noticed the journal and the key lying on the floor where the door had been. Had the key always been there? How did the kids get in? My wife and I looked at each other, our faces pale. We didn't want to find out what was in that room. Maybe some things are better left unknown, some doors best left unopened. But now the game was on. Every time we visited, the grandkids would try to get into that room. It became a game of cat and mouse, with us trying to stop them from finding out what was in that room. One day we had the house redone, and that room was sealed off from the rest of the house. The door was removed, and the opening was bricked over. Finally, our secret was safe. But I never forgot about that room or the secrets it held, and neither did my wife. Every night before she went to sleep, she would say, "Whatever you do, don't open that door," as if afraid that her words might attract whatever was hiding in there. And every night I would hold her hand, willing her to stop, to forget about the room. But she never did. Until one day she died, she never stopped worrying about that room.